Good morning, everyone. Am I audible to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So don't give the attendances in the chat box, okay? I'm not going to see that. I will be giving you one Google Form link in the middle of the class that you have to fill it up, okay? Don't write in the chat box. Okay, so last class we have done. We have learned about the igneous rock, right? We have learned about the igneous rock. Somebody's mic is on, I guess. Viviki, you mute yourself. Okay. So last class, what we have. Okay, you are able to see my screen, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So last class, we have learned about what is igneous rock. Yes, then we have learned about the different types of igneous rock. That is your volcanic rocks, then plutonic, hyperbicel, all those rocks we have studied. Then also about the composition. Okay, chemical composition, mineralogical composition we have. Then we have learned about the textures of igneous rocks. Okay, different factors forming different factors of your the textures of igneous rock. Okay, so all those things and also the types of textures also we have discussed. Okay, so now for igneous class, igneous rocks, today it will be the last class for your igneous rock. For next class, we will be going on to sedimentary rocks. Okay, we can't take more since I'm getting only one class, so it will be difficult if I continue to do this rock thing. Okay, there are many, actually many. Igneous rock is a very vast chapter, but then also I have tried to give it to you all the important things. Okay, so today we will be discussing about the just wait. Okay. So today we will be discussing about the structures of igneous rock. Okay. So there are when what we have discussed is that like how the igneous rock is formed. The igneous rock it is formed from the cooling and like crystallization of your lava and magma, right? So when the magma it comes to the surface of the earth, it is known as your lava, and when it cools and solidifies, so that gives you the formation of your igneous rocks. Okay, so now these features. Okay, those features of igneous rocks that are like developed on a large scale, okay, below the surface of the earth or at the surface of the earth. So what they do, they due to this lava or magma, it gives some like very different shapes or forms that are known as your structures. Okay. First one is the definition and second one is the type. Okay, so definition, just now I already told that it is developed on a large scale, okay, in the body of an extrusion or intrusion. That is, it might be in the inside the surface of the earth or at the surface, above the surface of the earth. So that leads to some different shapes and also forms, and those are known as your structures. Okay, and these structures of igneous rocks, they might be very well developed, okay, so that they can be recognized very easily on visual inspection, and also they might be very apparent, okay, and they can be like when you cut those thin sections of rocks, so you can examine those under the only under a microscope. Okay, so what are the types of structures, like what are the different types of structures? So the types of structures, that is again divided into two types. Okay, one is due to the one is due to the mobility of magma or lava. Okay, so one structure, it is formed due to the mobility or of the magma or the lava, and the next one is your due to the cooling of magma. Okay, so two types are the main types are there. Okay, so under your structures due to mobility of magma or lava, so there are again different types. Okay, so number one is your the flow structures. So number one is your the flow structures. Number two is your the pillow structures. Then comes your the ropey and blocky lava. Okay, four is your the spherolytic structure, and number five is your orbicular structure. So the names obviously you have to remember by anyhow. Okay, so these five structures are they form due to the mobility of magma. You know, like this magma, they are very highly viscous, okay, and they are also very highly mobile. Okay, so this mobility of lava, it is responsible for the formation of different structures, and those are your flow structures, pillow structures, rocky and blocky lava, spherolytic and orbicular. Okay, so now let us know what does each of this structure it means. Okay, so this is the image of a flow structure. Okay, this is the image of a flow structure of igneous rocks. Okay, somebody's mic is on. Let me mute this bit. Okay, so this is the example, oh sorry, this is the photo of a flow structure. So what is a flow structure? You know, these are developed by, you know, like parallel or nearly parallel layers of igneous rock. So you can see in the picture that these are some parallel layers. You can see some parallel layers. Okay. So you can see those parallel layers, right? So flow structure, it is the development of parallel or nearly parallel layers. So these are the layers you can see. Okay. So this kind of flow structure, it is known as your flow structure. And this like parallelism, it is caused by what? It is caused by the flow of magma during the process of crystallization. So when the magma it starts to cool down, okay, so this type of the magma is flowing in this direction. So the structure is forming like this. Okay, so this is an example of like diagram of a flow structure. So next one is your pillow structure. Okay, so what is a pillow structure? You know, like it is characterized by the development of bulbous overlapping pillow-like surfaces in the body of igneous mass. So by watching the picture, I think it is clear to you. So you can see some like pillow-type structures in the rocks, right? So this is the type of pillow structure. Okay, and this like this structure, structure of rocks, it is formed from what? Mobile basaltic lava. Okay, so and here what happens, like the when the upper surface of the magma, or sorry, of the lava, it gets solidified. Okay, but the lava beneath, it remains very hot and it can able to flow. Okay, so like like further flow, it will be possible only when the crust that is formed at the top of the this lava, it when it ruptures, only then the below surface can flow. So for all those, it is forming like a bulbous and a pillow like structures. Okay, so next one is your ropey and blocky lava. Okay, so this, let me show you the picture first. Okay, so you can see this is a ropey and blocky lava. Okay, so what happens is that, like the if the lava is very dry, okay, or it is very highly viscous dry lava, so these dry lavas, they undergo, very little movement. Okay, they cannot flow, so they go very little movement. So means after their eruption. Okay, so like this, their surfaces, okay, their surfaces, they show like some broken appearance. Okay, they have some broken appearance in their or some fragmented appearance they have. So these like broken appearance, it is known as your blocky lava. So in the first picture you can see, the first picture, it is your blocky, okay, blocky lava. And on the other hand, what happens is that some very mobile lava, okay, that means it has a high capability to flow. So those lavas, very mobile lavas, they flow for very greater distances, okay, and they also cool down during the flow process. Okay, and so its upper surface, it is like smoothly wrinkled. Okay, so that is known as your that's a surface structure, it is known as your ropey structure. You can see it looks like a rope. Yes, in the second picture, it is your ropey lava. So blocky and ropey lava. Okay, so next one is your spherolytic structure. You see the structure. Okay, this is the picture of a spherolytic structure of igneous rock. So here what happens, this type of rock, it is this means determined, or it can be characterized by the presence of, like the thin mineral fibers. Okay, and it has some thin mineral fibers and of various shapes and sizes, and also they have a radial manner, and they have a common center at the center. You can see they have a common center. So if you see this type of rock, you can say that this is a type of spherolytic structure. Okay, next one is your orbicular structure. So this orbicular structure, it looks like this. This type of rock is of your orbicular structure. Just give me a second, please. Okay, sorry, I just got a call. Okay, okay. So this orbicular structure I was telling. Okay, so this orbicular structure you can see this is a kind of a very rare type of structure. Okay, so this what happens here is that it is composed of very ball-like aggregates. Okay, or you can say aggregations. So again, this each ball-like structure or aggregations, it is again composed of some concentric shells. Okay, and these shells are, this is of different type of minerals. So this is a very rare type of structure, but the picture of the rock, it is given in the slide. Okay, it looks like this. Okay, then next is your, okay, let me give you the link for the attendance. Okay, you fill up during the class itself. Did you get the link in the chat box?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you just everyone you fill it up. Okay, don't give write in the chat box. You give the attendance in the this Google form. Okay, okay. So next we come to, okay. So first one, just like I told you that first one was due to the mobility of magma or lava. And the second structure, it is due to the cooling of magma. So when the magma cools, then also, some structures are being formed. Okay. During the cooling and crystallization process, when the cooling and the crystallization take place, so during that time, some structures are formed. So what are those structures? Let us see. So the first structure, it is your joining structure. Okay, so here what happens under the joining structure, again, jointing structure, there are three types of structures. One is your sheet structure, second is your mural jointing, and the third one is your columnar structure. There is a photo you can see here. So the first diagram you can see, it is a sheet structure. Okay, then this one, it is your mural structure. These two you can see mural structure, and number this last one is your columnar structure. Okay, so here what is happening is that you like the cooling of magma or this lava, this when this cooling of magma or lava, it happens. Okay, so it is like yeah, accompanied, you can say, by by the development of some joints. Okay, or cracks. Okay, some cracks or joints are being formed when this cooling of magma or lava takes place. Okay, then these joints, okay, they follow some definite patterns. Okay, they follow some definite patterns. So like when when there is horizontal sets of joints, or they are very closely spaced, so they look like sheets. So this first one, it is your sheet structure. Okay, when these are very closely spaced and they appear in a horizontal set of joints and they look like a sheets, so these are known as your sheet structure. The next one is your like mural jointing. So what is mural jointing is that they may be developed, like three sets of joints will be there. Okay, and they will be all at the right angles. Okay, so they will be having three sets of joints and they are mutually at right angles to one another, and so they give a look of like cubical blocks. So they, when it looks like a cubical block structure, so that is known as your mural jointing. And number third one is your columnar structure. Okay, so in columnar structure, what happens is that they develop in mud and they develop due to drying and shrinking. Okay, and they, you can see here, these rocks, they look like columns. So that is why it is termed as your columnar structure. Okay, next one is your rift and grain. So what is rift and grain? Like you can see in the picture, this rift and grain, it gives you two separate directions. Okay, and these gives two separate directions, and uh, like these directions are, like when the igneous rocks, they can be broken from the main rock body. Okay, so rift is the perpendicular, and the grain direction, you can see it is at a right angle to the rift direction. Okay, so these two are, they give the separate directions, and they can, and in these directions, like they can be, the igneous rocks can be broken uh, into a, from the main rock body, so it can be broken in that direction. Okay, so that is known as your rift and grain. So next one is your, and the rift and grain, they are always at a right angles to each other. Next one is your vesicular structure. Okay, so what happens in your vesicular structure? You can see these rocks. You can see the photograph of this rock. Yes. So what happens is that this lava, they are very rich in gases. Okay, when they erupt during from the volcano, so they are very rich in gases, and during the cooling and crystallization process, they are accompanied by the escape of these gases. Okay, and like this when this cooling or solidification take place, what happens is that it leads to the formation of cavities, and these cavities, they are of various sizes and shapes. Okay, and these cavities, they remain empty. Okay, when the cooling process take place, so these cavities, they form these cavities, but these cavities, they remain empty when they are cooled down. So these structures, it is known as your vesicular structure. Okay, so there are empty spaces, you can see. Okay, like vesicles. So next one is your last one, that is your Neurolytic structure. Okay, so what is a Neurolytic structure? It is that, sometimes you can see some very small cavities are formed, like during the crystallization or solidification of magma. So these these cavities, they get filled sometimes with some volatile compounds, okay, or volatile components, and they due to this, like when volatile components get fills up these cavities, they may enlarge them. Okay, the rock gets enlarged. Okay, and also there some, what happens, they facilitate the formation of some unusual minerals. So these like these cavities, okay, that contains these some unusual minerals. Okay, so they are known as your Neurolytic structure or Neurolytic cavities. Okay, and when these Neurolytic cavities, they are found in abundance. Okay, so that is known as your Neurolytic structure. Okay, this the rock, you can see here, it is a Neurolytic structure. You can see the vesicular, they have the cavities, but here in the cavities, the cavities are filled by some volatile components. Okay, all volatile compounds. Okay, so next we will learn about the forms of igneous rocks. Okay, so structure is finished. So next one is your forms of igneous rocks. So this igneous rocks, okay, the forms of igneous rocks, we are having it in two types. One is your concordant bodies, and the next one is your discordant bodies. Okay, so what is a concordant body and what is a discordant body? Okay, so like those infusions, okay, in which the magma has been injected and cooled along or parallel to the structural planes. That means you have the bedding plane. So if the intrusions of lava or magma, or of the magma, sorry, of the magma, it is injected in a parallel direction to the bedding plane, that in that case it is known as your concordant body. And what is discordant? Discordant is the just the opposite of concordant body. That means here what happens, it is not taking in a parallel direction. Okay, so it is injected here in a across the bedding planes. that cuts the bedding plane. So suppose bedding plane is a horizontal direction, so these discordant bodies, they will form in the perpendicular direction. Okay, so these two are both, like the opposite to each other. So we have again some different forms of concordant bodies also, and discordant bodies also. We have some different forms. So what is the forms of concordant bodies? That is your seals, phacolites, lopolites, and lacolites. And here in the discordant body, it is dikes, volcanic necks, and batholites. So let us understand all these terms in by seeing a this diagram. Okay, so it is a diagram of a volcano. Okay, intrusive landform of this igneous intrusions, you can say. So when like the volcano is erupting, what is happening below the volcano? Okay, I mean below the earth surface, whatever is happening. So we will see here through this diagram. So first one, we will talk about concordant bodies. Okay, concordant bodies we will learn. So first one is your seal. Okay, first one is your seal. So what is seal? You can see here. You can see this part. Okay, you can see this part. These horizontal, these are bedding planes. Okay, these are, you can see, these are the bedding planes, and this is a seal. So what is a seal? You can see here. There's the, like those infusions, like those have been injected along or between the bedding plates. Okay, so here what happening, the magma, it is taking place along the bedding plane, or like between the bedding plates. Okay, that means when this magma is, when a volcano erupts, only some part of magma, it is able to come out of the surface of the earth. Okay, all the magma, they are unable to come out of the surface of the earth, so they form some igneous rocks in their below the earth surface. Okay, so they different, like different forms are happening below the earth surface. So this seal, it is taking place, like when this magma, it is being injected and pulled along the along or between or parallel to the bedding plates. Okay, so it is a like along or between the bedding plane, the seals are being formed. And here these seals, you can say that the thickness of the seals is very small. Okay, and their width and the length. Okay, so that is a characteristic of, also you can say, the thickness is very small, then their width and length. Okay, so next one, it is your phacolite. Okay, so here you can see where is a phacolite. This part, you can see, it is a phacolite. Okay, so what is a phacolite? So these are, like very small sized intrusives, okay, that occupy the positions of troughs and crest. Troughs and crest, I think this, like this structure, this thing is happening. Okay, so this is a trough. Okay, and this is a crest. So this trough and crest is happening. Okay, so when like the magma, it takes place in the form of a trough and a crest, so that is known as your phacolite. That means in phacolite, some of the magma, it goes it like deposits in the trough part, and also some of the magma, it deposits in the crest part. So okay, so this is known as your phacolite. Okay, so next one is your lopolite. Okay, what is a lopolite? You see here. Mm, okay, in the diagram, the lopolite is not shown. Lopolite. Okay, it's not shown here. I will have to find some another photo. Okay, no problem. So, okay, no problem. I will tell you, okay, what is a locolith. This, like those igneous intrusions, okay, where which are associated with some structural basins, you can say, okay, that are, sedimentary beds that are inclined. Okay, those structure that are inclined towards a common center, they are having a common center, and those basins, they are inclined towards a common center, so they are known as your locolith. I will show you the diagram of a locolith in the next class. I don't have it right now. Okay, so so these are all, like concordant bodies. And last one is there in a concordant body is your lacolith. You can see here, this is a lacolith. Okay, you can see this part, it is a lacolith. So this lacolith, these are you can say the intrusions, okay, that have been arched up. You can see it looks like a dome. Okay, it looks like a dome like structure, and the igneous mass, it has a concave base. Okay, and also you can see here the magma, it gets filled up like a heap. Okay, you can see a dome like structure is forming, so that is known as your lacolith. Okay, so these four are your concordant bodies. Next one is your, we will come to discordant body, and discordant body, first one is your dikes. Okay, so concordant bodies, we talk that here all the intrusions, magma intrusions are happening, like along the bedding planes, or parallel to the bedding planes. So all these forms are happening along or parallel to the bedding planes, but this discordant body, so wherever that, it is across the bedding planes, so those are all discordant bodies. So here what you can see are discordant bodies. Let me grab this one. Okay. Here, what you can see, it is across the discordant body. You can see that this one, okay, this one you can see discordant, yes. So this dike, what is a dike? Okay, so these dikes are, they are you can say they are like columnar bodies that they cut across the bedding plane. Okay, here you can see the bedding plane in this direction, and they are cutting the bedding plane. So this is a dike. Okay, seal and dike both are opposite. The seal is happening, it is happening along or between the bedding planes, and dike is happening, it is forming across the bedding plane. Okay, so next one of the dike, and the next one is your volcanic necks. So what is volcanic neck? Actually, you can see this part, you can see this part. So from where the volcano is erupting, okay, some the after, like some time, so the neck, this is the neck here, from where the volcano erupts. Since from here the volcano is erupting, so this is known as your volcanic neck. Okay, it is termed as your volcanic neck. So next one is your batholith. You can see the batholith one, this one, the whole thing you can see, it is a batholith. Okay, so this batholith, it is a very huge body of igneous mass, you can say. Okay, and these batholith, they show both concordant and discordant relations. Okay, so this batholith, it will show concordant form also and discordant form also. And their dimensions, if you say, they are they will vary very considerably. Okay, and also you can say that their igneous mass, it will be greater than 100 square kilometer, and their depth we cannot trace, because you can see the area is such a large one, you cannot trace how much of width is there or how much depth is there. Okay, but you can say their depth, it will be always greater than 100 square kilometers. Okay, so these are all about your forms of your igneous rock. Okay, so in the next slide, just the definitions, all the definitions are given. Okay, these definitions, all that last class I have shared one PDF with you. So that is, all these things are included in that PDF. Okay, you can check it out, the definitions from there, or you can read also. Okay, so uh, that's all about your igneous rocks that we have learned. So one more thing, if you go through that PDF that I have shared, you self-study one thing by yourself. That is, like you have to study about the different types of igneous rocks. Okay, so there are like we have done the practical, if you remember, we have done the practical about your sedimentary, metamorphic, and igneous rocks. So there is granite, there is diorite, okay, then there is andesite, cyanites, so all those things, dolerites, so different types of igneous rocks are there. So you have to study the definitions, compositions, and the occurrence, or the textures, whatever is there in that PDF. You have to self study that one. Okay, just you have to know how the that igneous rock is forming, how this, what is the composition of a granite. So all those things you study by yourself. Okay, I'm not going through that. So that is one easy one. So this is all about your igneous rocks. Okay, so next class we will be discussing about your sedimentary rocks. Okay, sedimentary rocks we will be discussing in the next class. Okay, so have you filled up the form, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Everyone,
Done.
Yes, ma'am.
okay. If I that means if I end the meeting, the link will go. So is anybody left out to fill out the form? Then you can fill it up. Let me check
Ma'am,
how
I
many.
didn't got the link.
We didn't got the link.
The form.
Please check
Yeah,
in the chat box. I'm again giving.
okay, ma'am.
Check now. Okay, 71 responses I have got. Okay, so those who have filled up the form, you can leave the meeting. Thank you. We will meet in the next class. Okay, these 18 students, have you filled up the form? I'm going to like end the meeting. If you haven't, you quickly fill up the form and then you can leave the meeting. After the class, I am not giving you the link, or I will not give you attendance. Okay, I will close the link. Is it done?